Hello, my name is Anonymous. I would like to tell you about my Chow Chow and how smart he is. It all started one evening when we were all relaxing at home. My wife and I were watching TV and our two cats were lounging nearby. Our 6-year-old Chow Chow, Charlie, was lying by the front door keeping watch. As we watched, we saw a shadow move across the wall. My wife and I exchanged glances. No one was in the room. So whose shadow could it have been? Charlie suddenly shot up, barking and growling. He circled the room, trying to find the source of the shadow. Every time the shadow moved, he barked furiously. We knew there was no intruder, because we had seen no one enter the house. So we just watched in amusement as Charlie searched for the mysterious shadow. After what seemed like an eternity, the cat flicked her tail and walked over to the wall. She looked at the shadow for a moment before walking over and swiping at the curtain. As she did, the shadow vanished. It was only then that Charlie realized that the shadow hadn't actually been in the room at all. It had been nothing but a trick of the light. Charlie sat down, embarrassed at having been fooled, while the cat purred smugly, as if to say, "I knew it was just a shadow all along." But this isn't the end of the story. You see, this wasn't the first time our Charlie had gotten himself into a tizzy over nothing. In fact, it had happened several times before, usually when he was alone and had nothing to do. One time he got so worked up that he ended up hurting himself. That's why we never leave him alone anymore. You see, Charlie is a big dog. He weighs more than 60 pounds and has a thick coat of fur. But don't let his size fool you. He's got the heart of a lion and the curiosity of a kitten. And sometimes his bravery gets the better of him. Just a few months ago, we took him on a trip to the beach. We thought he'd love playing in the sand and splashing in the water. And he did for a while until he saw something that made him bark furiously. A small brown bird had landed on a rock not far from where we were sitting. Charlie wanted to get closer, but we stopped him because we didn't want him to scare the bird away. He looked at us as if to say, "But I want to play." But then he settled down and lay at our feet, still eyeing the bird. After a few minutes, the bird flew off, and Charlie got up and trotted over to where it had been sitting. He sniffed around for a moment, then came back and sat down beside us, looking proud as punch. He hadn't been able to catch the bird, but he'd at least driven it away. Another time, we were walking through the woods behind our house. It was a beautiful day, and we were enjoying the peace and quiet. Suddenly, Charlie stopped and started barking. He wouldn't stop, so we called him over and asked what was wrong. He led us to a fallen log and then started barking again. We couldn't see anything, so we called him again and tried to walk away, but he wouldn't budge. Finally, we had to pick him up and carry him over to the other side of the log. Once we were on the other side, Charlie put his paws on the ground and started growling. We looked at each other and then burst out laughing. We realized that Charlie had been scared by his own shadow. He'd been so startled by the shape it made on the log that he'd started barking and growling, and then had been too embarrassed to admit that it was just his shadow. We tried to reason with him, telling him that it was just his shadow, and that there was nothing to be afraid of, but it didn't seem to help much. He still gets scared sometimes, especially when the sun goes down and the shadows get longer. That's why we keep him inside at night. Sometimes we let him sleep on the couch in the living room, so he can keep watch over us while we sleep. But even then, he still gets scared of his own shadow. We love our Charlie very much, and we're glad he's a part of our family. He's a big, strong dog, but he's also a big baby, and we'll always take care of him no matter what. Now I want to hear your stories. Please share them below. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a big city. She had everything she could possibly want, a loving family, a big house, and lots of toys. But the girl was unhappy. She didn't know what was wrong. She just felt sad all the time. One day, her parents decided to take her on a trip to the zoo to see if she would be happy there. When they arrived, the girl's eyes lit up. She had never seen so many animals before. There were lions and tigers, monkeys and bears. The girl was amazed. She loved seeing all the different animals, but she especially liked the elephants. They were so big and strong, yet they were also gentle and kind. The girl wanted to pet an elephant, but she was too scared. They were so big, she thought they might hurt her. So the girl stayed far away from the elephants, watching them from afar. But one of the elephants noticed her. It was an old elephant, and it had seen hundreds of people come and go. It knew that most people were afraid of it, but it didn't mind. It was used to it. But this elephant was different. The girl wasn't afraid of its size or its strength. She was afraid of its heart. The elephant sensed the girl's fear, and it wanted to help her. So it did something unexpected. The elephant walked over to the fence and stuck its trunk out toward the girl. She was so surprised. Was the elephant trying to say hello? The girl was scared, but she was also curious. So she reached out and touched the elephant's trunk. The elephant was so happy. It had never had anyone touch its trunk before. It felt special. The girl was also happy. She had never touched an elephant before. It felt amazing. From that day on, the girl wasn't afraid of elephants anymore. She knew that they weren't as scary as she had thought they were. And the elephant never forgot the girl who had touched its trunk and shown it kindness. Every time the girl visited the zoo, she would go to see the elephant and they would become friends. The girl grew up and went to college, but she never forgot the elephant or the lesson it had taught her. Many years later, the girl became a zookeeper herself, and she worked with elephants every day. She knew that they weren't scary, and she loved working with them. She also knew that the world wasn't as scary as she had thought it was when she was a little girl. All she had to do was be kind and brave, like the elephant. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed listening to it as much as I did, please don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any new stories. Also, please leave a like and share this video with your friends. Thank you for being here and listening to me. I wish you a wonderful rest of the day. Take care. Bye.